Hello, my name is Anastasia. This is my 9th YouTube video. It's a video about how my life is progressing since my spouse came out as a male to female transgender January 1st of this year. It is now December 2nd, I believe, and I figured I'd give an update. It's been a month and a couple weeks since my last video, and thinking about my last video, it was pretty bleak and dismal, so I guess I'll start from there. My last video, I was discussing how I was tired all the time. I'm 8 months pregnant now. So I was just talking about how I was tired all the time and things were not good. We weren't supporting each other as much as we should have, and I was just a mess. So it's only been like a month and a week or a month and 2 weeks or so, but a lot's happened. Just like this whole year has been filled with so many changes. If you've ever seen any of my other videos, then you've seen a lot of them. I'm currently pregnant with our first child, a little girl. She'll be here anytime now, which I'm ready for. So yeah. From where the last video left off, Rain, my wife, watched it, and it gave her a greater perspective, or a different perspective of how the situation was. And she understood more where I was coming from, because it's different when I'm talking to a camera, right? Like I can say whatever's on my mind, and I don't need to worry about hurting your feelings or how you're going to react or interruptions or anything like that. So I just kind of say whatever pops in my head and let it go from there. So, and when I talk to Rain or whatever, I am concerned about all those things. So I don't always word things the way I should. I'm not always upfront and honest. I tone them down, and sometimes the message gets lost. So I think part of the issue was the communication, which honestly, the biggest issue we've had our entire relationship, even before Rain came out as transgender, is communication. So that's going to be a constantly worked upon thing. So yeah, in the last month or so, we've gotten a lot not closer. We have, but the arguing, the bickering, the unhappiness, the sadness has mostly stopped. We've had some bad things happen. Our family dog, who was 7 years old, passed away unexpectedly, right? Like, no warning, very unexpectedly. That was November 14th. So that really, she was Rain's dog. Like, Rain had her before we met, and like it affected me, but it definitely affected Rain. And that it kind of made us closer, but not really, because we're pretty close when we're not like being stupid. But it changed the dynamics of the situation, because tragedy tends to do that, I guess, especially something like death. So things were not going great before that. Rain was having a hard time emotionally with her transition and everything that was going on in her life. And I actually was getting sick all the time. My baby shower was November 13th. And November 14th, Isis, our dog, passed away. The last time I was continuously sick was November 13th. On November 14th, I stopped throwing up all the time. Like, I've gotten sick a few times since then, but nothing like it was. Like, now I have different issues, like my legs are swollen, or but I'm not sick all the time. So I'm more than happy with that trade. So coincidentally enough, I was no longer ill all the time. I was able to help around the house, do laundry, dishes, right? Like, way more than I had done in a very long time, because whenever I moved, I'd have to run to the bathroom and be ill. So things have definitely improved there, because it's not a huge burden on Rain anymore, where she has to go out and make the money and then come home and do the dishes. And the only thing I was doing consistently every day was make supper, and that's my deal, right? Like, I'm the supper maker. I'm not going to give that up. And but that was it for chores. And I'm still not doing very many chores because I'm a bit big. Vacuuming shouldn't be hard, but believe it or not, everything's hard. I dread going downstairs because my legs are so swollen, it hurts, it's uncomfortable, but the things I can do, I have been doing. I've been like cleaning off tables and dishes. Dishes are like a never-ending story in this house. I'm pretty sure it's the same for everyone, but yeah, so that improved because Rain wasn't so overburdened with every chore in the house. I was able to put some time and attention into our relationship because I wasn't 100% absorbed with myself and how crappy I was feeling. Like, yeah, I'm already forgetting how bad it was, but looking back, it was pretty horrible. It was, I was sick for a long time, and I'm so glad it's only occasional now. I can definitely handle that. But, so I'm able to put more effort into our relationship, and because I'm putting more effort into it, Rain's got this new perspective on my outlook, and she's more willing to put more effort into it. And it's not like it's great effort. It's just talking mostly, spending time together, brainstorming together, talking about the baby, like talking about us and the little things like taking pictures of her when she's not paying attention so she can see herself how I see her. Because one thing with Rain is if she knows you're taking your picture, she's not the most natural model. She tends to tense up and make herself more angular. I'm assuming accidentally because everybody wants to take good pictures, right? But when I get them when she's not paying attention, she can see what I see, and it looks much better. So I was able to do that. So I was able to show her how far she really has come in certain aspects. Like, and that helps her self-esteem, and that was something that was lacking because I wasn't available emotionally or physically. Honestly, I was pretty self-absorbed. Like, I would think about, oh, I should do this, and then I'd be like, no, I'm not going to get up. Right? Like, I just can't. And I really couldn't. And that concerned me greatly because at what point, when you know you need to do something to help your relationship that you're in with the person you love, and you're like, nah, not gonna bother, that's not a good sign. That's like the end. But that's what I always assumed, right? Like, yet another misconception, I guess, because it wasn't that I didn't want to, it was I really couldn't. And I didn't have the energy to do anything for anybody, right? Like, it was so hard just to be awake and waddle to the bathroom and and yeah, I'm really glad that phase is over. And I honestly think we could have skipped most, if not all of that phase, if I hadn't been so sick. Because relationships are a constant thing you need to work on. For both people in the relationship, or all the people in the relationship, it is a constant It's constant work. And if there's only two people in the relationship and one person is unable or unwilling to contribute anything, it's going to fall apart pretty quickly. Or eventually. Because I guess some go slower than others. But ours was falling apart. And like I said, it wasn't because I didn't want to work on it. It was because I couldn't. And and I'm pretty sure in my last video, I haven't seen it since the day I made it, but I'm pretty sure I mentioned that I hoped there was enough to salvage when I felt better. Well, luckily enough, like 20 days after that video, I felt better. And very shortly after that, like within 2 to 3 days of not being continuously sick, we were almost back on track where we had been if I hadn't been sick at all. So it was like we're not the perfect couple. Like, don't get me wrong, and we still have issues. We still have the same old crap that everybody's got. Well, some of it's different, obviously, but it was just a bad phase. It didn't define our relationship. And I am very glad that I was able to do my share and contribute more before our baby comes, so that we don't have, because we're going to go through another phase where I'm not going to be able to contribute as much as I should. I'm going to be breastfeeding, which apparently is once every 1 to 3 hours. And I'm not going to be sleeping much, and I'm going to be tired, and I'm going to be sore, and I don't know how much energy I'm going to have, but talking to everybody else I know that has children, it's not going to be much. And Rain is going to be in pretty much the same boat except for the breastfeeding, which if I could share that with her, I sure would. Because, I like my sleep. How other things are going, like other than the obvious. That's obviously what's dominating everything is the pregnancy, and Rain is doing well. She had, because we were having issues, she had a bad couple of months, which I do feel bad about. But since things started improving, she's doing much better. She's happier. She's more like herself, and I like her when she's herself. When she's depressed and unhappy, it's not good for anybody. And she's shown a lot more interest in Harley since things have improved, and she's finally felt her move and seen her move and all that good stuff. I keep trying to get her moving on camera, but it's like she knows. So she stops. I think she's going to be a contrary child. But yeah, Rain's a lot more come to terms with how she feels about Harley, and because, as I've discussed before, Rain wants to have a baby, but she can't. So she has to live vicariously through me. And that's hard to come to terms with. And I can understand to a certain extent, because for a while there I just assumed that I couldn't have kids, not for like any real reason, just because I hadn't. And it was heartbreaking. So that was just assuming, like, being paranoid. So to try and put myself in the situation of knowing that I cannot ever carry a baby or give birth is heartbreaking. Especially now that I'm almost to the birth stage. Like, I'd trade the labor portion if I could, right? But not optional. And trust me, if Rain could carry the next one, I would so let her. But she can't, so I will, if we're blessed with another one. So Rain, okay, total change of subject now. Rain's transition has been progressing physically very nicely. she went from, she had little boobies, right? They were there, but they were very unnoticeable, like in clothing and stuff. Like if she had a shirt off, you could see them, but they looked like very, very small, just starting to bud boobs. Well, a couple weeks ago, they got super perky. So they're still small, but now they like stand up, which I seem to recall back when I was like young, that was a stage in puberty when you got those perky boobs. So I'm pretty sure she's hit that stage. But it has been a long time. So her boobs are coming along nicely. Her butt has been and still is very phenomenal. However, her waist now is like totally curvaceous. And I kept telling her that, and I'd embarrass her. Like when a friend would come over, I'd be like, "Oh, you got to see this. Rain dropped all 4. I want to show this off," right? Because I'm proud, I guess is the word. I'm not really sure what the word is, but like that's a big stage, because she is getting where she wants to go. She's got the figure, right? Like I know she's not happy with the front parts yet, but that'll be taken care of. The boobs will get bigger, and then Mr. Happy will be Mrs. Happy, and the front will be where she wants it to be. But at the back, whether she knows it or not, she's pretty much got it. The back is, like I said, she's very curvaceous. So, last night actually, after her bath, I made her get in position, like pose, and I took some pictures of how I see her. And since it was her back, I didn't have to worry about the stiff angular issue, right? I just focused on, so that wasn't an issue. She was amazed, like, because she's never seen it. Because when you try, as we all know, when you try and look at yourself from behind, you're not going to get the correct view. Well, with the picture, she could actually see how curvaceous she is. And on, like, she's got some curves. It literally goes down a little bit, and then super in, and then super out. She's got like badunkadunk. So she was very happy, and that made me happy too, obviously. Actually, I showed one of the pictures, like the more appropriate one, to her mother today. And her mother's like, "Who's that?" Which struck me as a bit odd, because Rain has tattoos, and they're very distinct tattoos on her back. And I was like, "Oh, that's Rain." And Rain's mother was flabbergasted. She's like, "Oh my God." Right? Like, Rain's mother's having a couple issues. Not issues, but like she says he a lot. And I constantly correct and constantly correct and constantly correct. But, she knows what's going on, but she just can't seem to get over the pronouns. So, but yeah, she was blown away, because Rain always covers up, right? Like, she's a modest person, and she does wear more appropriate clothes now, as you can probably tell if you watch her videos. And when I say more appropriate, I mean more feminine. She's got like the V-necks now, and more form-fitting, the way most women dress. Not me, because I like baggy, and I'm honestly, Rain's always been more girly than me, so but she is bringing out the girly in me, which is kind of weird. I've noticed I've gotten more dominant in like relations. I'm slightly more dominant, more aggressive, and I don't know if that's because of the transition or because of the pregnancy, but yeah, I used to be very submissive, or I don't know if that's the right word, because I wasn't like totally submissive, but a follower, more passive, more submissive. And Rain would take the lead, and that was something that Rain would always say, like, "I don't always have to take the lead." And I was like, "Yeah, that's nice, right? Like, sorry, that's your job." And that was something. Well, now I've got no problems taking the lead. Occasionally I get insecure, but those are really old hang-ups that it's obviously time to drop, right? Like, if Rain can be herself, it, like, truly be herself, despite what everybody wants, expects, or needs from her, she's being true to herself, then I can probably get over a couple hang-ups. And so I've been working through them. But I have come to the conclusion that I may always have been a little bit attracted to femininity. Not necessarily women, but like because femininity. Because when I think back to when I first met Rain, like 5 years ago, before I knew Rain existed, when I first met Joseph was like, looked masculine, but when it came to the relationship, Joseph was always much more girly than me, more touchy and emotional, and I've had more satisfaction with Joseph / Rain than I've ever had with anybody in my life, which I just thought I lucked out when it was Joseph. But now that I know it was like Rain in there, it kind of makes sense why I never really was happy in that way with anyone else, because I kind of needed, I still don't know for sure, this is just my hypothesis or whatever, I think I needed that femininity to, like, enjoy myself. And I do. I really enjoy myself with Rain. And before, it was for whoever I was with. It didn't really do much for me. Not that there was a great many, but the few that were, it was just, oh, this is what you're supposed to do when you're in a relationship. And you know what, honestly, started that way with Joseph too. But quickly, I discovered why everybody liked to do it. Because I don't know why. I just assumed Joseph was very good at it. Although, thinking back, I knew then that Joseph was about as experienced as I was. Same, like, approximate number of previous partners, blah, blah, blah. So, shouldn't have been so experienced that they could do what nobody else could for me. However, now that I know it's Rain, makes a lot more, it really does make a lot more sense that she was able to turn my crank so easily and so often. And, like, okay, to go from not being able to achieve satisfaction with a person, like, I could always do it alone, but with another person, pretty much no matter what's going on, to being able to achieve satisfaction without that person even touching you, just by touching them and smelling them and being with them, is insane. And we've had that. Like, Rain turns me on like nobody I've ever could have dreamed of. And might have something to do with the whole woman thing. I don't know. I've never been with another woman. And I've never really, like, when you're a kid, when I was a kid anyway, there was like a couple kisses or whatever with neighborhood girls or schoolmates or whatever, but nothing, like, I was like 9, 10, maybe 11, so never would have went beyond that. But from the time I hit, like, maturity, it was boys. And never really occurred, like, my family all the time would joke with me that, or ridicule me or whatever, telling me I was a lesbian because I was not sexually active with anybody for a long time. Like, I chose to be celibate, and I was happy with that decision for a good portion of my adult life. And I'm really glad I did that, because looking around, if you get involved with the wrong type of person, you're pretty much screwed. So I'm really glad I did that, because that's what brought me on the journey to meeting Rain. And I'm very happy with where I am. So yeah, sorry, totally off topic. This video was supposed to be about 15 minutes, and I am at like 25. So yeah. So our relations is awesome. Rain's transition is progressing nicely. We did have one setback with the transition. Rain's name change and gender marker came back. They needed one more document. So that was pretty depressing, because we were really hoping it would be finished before our baby was born, so that there'd be no question about the birth certificate. I could just put Rain and be done with it. And now I'm not sure exactly legally what I'm supposed to do. So I'm like, my mother-in-law's like, you can put whatever you want on there. And I'm like, okay, Santa Claus. But I'm pretty sure there's might be a legal ramification if it's not done properly. I'm going to have to find out, because, like I said, I'm 8 months pregnant. I don't have much time. So progression of the transition is very good. Christmas this year is going to be less bountiful than normal, because I'm not working right now, and bills being what they are, with all the increases across the board, especially hydro. Thank you, Ontario. We took some massive hits in the last couple of months. But there's one special gift that I got Rain that I can't say, because I know the second I'm done recording this video, she's going to be watching it. But when we talk after Christmas, and I get to tell you, or Rain does a video and gets to tell you, I think you'll be pretty happy with my ingenuine, I can't even think of the word, so, with thinking outside the box for Christmas, because I have a gift that I think is going to help Rain, and that she's going to love. And it's a time and effort more than a money gift, which is great, because I got lots of time and I'm willing to put in the effort, but money's not everywhere. So it's like, I'm glad it worked out that way, honestly, because normally I would just, I'll go to the store and I'll buy her a big screen TV, and there we go. And yeah, it's great for watching movies, but how does that help you grow as a person? Where the time and effort gifts helped me to grow, because I had to put in the time and effort, and the result is it's going to help Rain to grow. And I'm pretty happy with that. So more details to come after Christmas, because like I said, there's no way Rain won't watch this video. Even if I say don't watch this video, she'll wait till I'm asleep and watch the video. So life is pretty good, especially compared to my last video. Chances are Harley's coming before Christmas. That's our baby's name, Harley. And she was supposed to come New Year's Day or New Year's Eve, but I'm good with before Christmas. It'll make awesome photos, and then I can get one of those baby first Christmas ornaments with the year on it, and I'm good with that, and Rain's good with that, and we're both pretty eager to meet her face to face instead of through the skin there. And yeah, I've been babbling for almost 30 minutes. So I will let you go, and if I bummed you out with my last video, I really apologize. That's how I felt at the time. And one thing I try and do is be very honest in these videos, and I'm going to continue to do that. So until next video, you all have a wonderful time and a very Merry Christmas.